not experience hair loss. You have no idea. Oh, I gotta watch this. Hold on, I got a hate boner. My fault. Before I get off, let me watch this. Hate boner activated.
For a period of
niggas sent me this. I just knew I should get in my bag. What do we mean no one cares? Y'all don't care about Jack Easy no more? Damn, let me know.
Time, Jack Harlow was one of the biggest.
Where he at, by the way? I haven't heard it. Like, I ain't heard a snippet, a single, an album, a thought. I ain't heard a social media post. No, nothing. Like, that's crazy.
Rappers in hip hop with songs like "What's Poppin'," "First Class," and "Industry
wild.
Baby." There's no doubt he had a
Where
crazy
he at?
run in the early 2020s. But fast forward to just a few years later, and it seems like he disappeared, with no one really talking about him anymore. Most recently, he put out a single with Doja Cat that had a big music video, but it just came and went.
Damn, that's crazy.
Something.
Damn, he looks no racial. He looks like it's uncanny.
That was not always the case for Jack, and I think that there are three main reasons for that. But to understand that, we have to go back to the beginning. Also, real quick, I have to say it. I know I'll just finally address it once and for all. I know I look like the Temu version of Jack Harlow or the many other worse things you guys have said. I had his name hidden in the comments for a while just because I saw it so much. But here's a few just to get an idea.
See, it's not like, oh yeah, white boy on the screen. White boy on the screen. It is uncanny. How's it a pre-watch? He just said he gets it all the time. Come on, dude.
Yeah, of how many there are. So yes, I get it. I sort of see it. Whatever. And now that we're finally past this,
I'll never be past it. Like, y'all look like long lost twins.
Let's continue with the video. Before Jack Harlow blew up with the track "What's Poppin'," he did have a promising buzz in the underground rap scene. Around this time, he became friends with the comedian Druski, a friendship that started well before the two found the level of success they've reached since.
And Druski had his toes out.
In an interview with Complex, the two told the story of how their friendship came to be. Druski ironically first found Jack after Diddy shouted him out on Instagram. He said, "I saw Diddy post something like, 'This is the next kid. He's the one.' So I'm like, yo."
See, I never knew that. With a Diddy cosign, I never knew that. You got to keep everything in conjunction and keep everything in mind when you're talking about where some of these, you know what I'm saying, individuals spawn from. You got to keep, it's all a plan, it's all a plot. They've been talking about Rock Nation, but they ain't talking about Diddy for real.
Diddy doesn't even post shit like that. He'll either put himself...
Who was he setting the success ladder up for is what I want to know. Who was Jack ultimately supposed to be? If Diddy never got exposed, we might still know about Jack.
Or himself. I checked Jack's page out and I was like, yo, this song is a banger. The song Druski was referring to was Jack's Through the Night with Bryson Tiller. And after listening to this, he heard the song Sundown as well, to which he said, okay, this white boy is it. Many fans even point back to this era of his music as his best, cause even though later on he made some way more commercially successful songs, some people say they all kind of sound the same, with his older music having more variety and personality. But around this time in 2019 is when Druski decided to hit up Jack. And
that's so crazy to me too, because anytime I ever listen to Jack Harlow, I don't think there's ever been a Jack Harlow era where he was good. Like, ever. I know I'm in my hater bag right now. I get it. But, like, you got to... It's justifiable because who I'm talking about right now. But, like, I'm trying to justify an era where, like, his commercial peak was to, like, in my mind, verify or validate the fan base that attracted to him at that particular point in time. You know what I mean? I'm trying to develop, like, the time frame in my head.
At this point, Jack said he'd already been a fan of Druski, following him on IG for 3 months already, and putting people onto his videos all summer. So they finally started talking and hit it off right away. And Druski even offered to hop on Jack's tour as an opener.
Just a personality. I found out that he lived in the city of Atlanta at the time. Linked up with him and we hung out. Of course, we were not really known then. I just heard about.
His fit is so crazy, Druski. Holy shit.
Man, he was like, yo, I'm going on this small tour.
My nigga dressed like one of those ice cream things. Or like the popsicle with the explosion rocket.
And I went on tour with him. We were on a bus with like a whole bunch of people. We were showering at truck stops. Just, you know, crazy stuff.
Nah, this a nutty fit.
It just, we stuck through it and pushed through, even through all the struggles through that. And we used to have these talks on the tour bus, like, yo, when we make it, like, we're gonna go big, man. Like, we used to really like lock in, like, late at night and be like, bro, I can't wait. Like, we just had all these goals that we would talk about. And it's crazy to see both of us transcending and just going up now is just like wild to watch, man.
Druski and Jack agree that the reason they get along so well is that they both had a very similar life goal. And while they worked in different industries, their social media overlap led to them grabbing the world's attention around the same time.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is.
I always figured Jack Harlow could have been Lil Dicky, you know, like a Lil Dicky type. But then he started like rapping for real, and I just couldn't get with it. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was gonna be Lil Dicky Part 2. And I felt like that's where he would have excelled more frequently. It's like, yeah, I should stay in that bag. You know what I mean? Because like no matter what I do, or no matter what he does, it'll just, I feel like it'll never connect with me.
Another funny thing is that the two were pretty competitive because neither of them said they wanted to be the broke friend. Druski even said that when What's Poppin' came out, Jack shot through the roof.
Lil Dicky ain't even good. I didn't say Lil Dicky was good, but that's my point. I don't expect anything good from Lil Dicky. Nobody hypes Lil Dicky. Nobody says Lil Dicky's good. He's like a rapper that will take any opportunity to act that he can, and he tried to market himself as like comedic at one point, but he's just there.
He had money coming in, but he was such a good friend. He would pay for shit and just be like, yo, I got it. So now that I'm where I'm at, I tell him, I got it, I can pay for it now. And their joint success even brought in business ventures together, like the unscripted Call of Duty Warzone trailer they featured in.
What?
There's a radio. Let me turn the radio on.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
We got a deal.
The reason I bring all of this up is to point out that I really do think Jack Harlow and Druski's relationship was huge in Jack Harlow's career. To this day, I still see clips on TikTok of the two hanging out together in all of their funny moments.
Y'all think what he's alluding to almost is like Jack Harlow, he's alluding to Druski being the bridge between, like, he can't say it, but like, is Druski the bridge for black people in Jack Harlow to an extent? I never thought about that, for real. Thinking about Druski's influence in Jack Harlow's career to a certain extent. I never would have like looked at it in that way.
Goat vaccination spot.
But I would say that most people, or a lot of people, were giving him props regardless, because even without the bridge of Druski, the white rapper thing is just so attractive no matter how mediocre they might be. For black people and white people, it's just like, it's just whenever one spawns, they all attracted to him immediately by default. You know what I mean? And Druski also was kind of being that bridge a little bit for Justin Bieber off his recent album. You know what I'm saying? Like the foot holder. Why do I think that is? Because people love... I'm trying to see how to, a more dignified or a more appropriate way to say, like, people are generally attracted to mediocrity if it's from a white face. You know what I'm saying? But there's a million black Jack Harlows. Just like there are a million rappers that are better than Jack Harlow that never got the same recognition that he got for being as mediocre as he was. But that's just what America more specifically seems to be attracted to. You know what I mean? And so they're going to adapt. Like they adapt to whatever that is. If that is the face of rap in their mind, it's like that's what is going to be acceptable for me because that looks like me, or that reminds me of something that I'm familiar with potentially. Like Ian to a certain extent, but Ian, in my opinion, is another variant of this whole syndrome of white rappers where, you know, they bring nothing original or influential or even cool remotely to the mix. It's just like a cosplay and a copy and paste and a rehash of everything that black voices and industries and culture has done beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was arguing me down about his freestyle and saying I shouldn't have ranked his freestyle on XXL so low. And I'm like, why do you even like it so much? He was like, y'all don't remember when the kid was going after that in the high school? And I'm like, yeah, who created that moment? I don't know, yeah, a bunch of black kids, and he took the moment and tried to recreate it on Double XL. Why do I want to see that again? I'm good. That's what you're going crazy about. Go watch the OG vid. I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing to like Ian or nothing like that. I'm just saying, why are you're crediting him for something that he's not doing?
They're trying to get political.
You're giving him the trophy for innovation in something that he didn't innovate.
Yeah.
Look at this shit.
What is going on?
Why even?
That says vacation, dumbass.
Go vacation spot.
That's a funny moment, though. That's a funny moment.
Go vacation.
But I always thought Jack Harlow was funny. I did. I always thought Jack Harlow was kind of a funny rapper. I did. Or a funny guy.
Vacation spot.
How the fuck? How did you?
Genuine question. Has a white boy innovated anything? I don't think it's that deep. Like I said before, it's perfectly fine to say, I don't care about it to that extent. You should speak for yourself. But I'm telling you for a fact, the meteoric, like I said meteoric, the rise of the white rapper is completely based on mediocrity and nothing more. That's just the facts. Every white rapper in history that's gotten anywhere popular has had a stimulus off the back of them being Caucasian. That is a fact. I know you don't have to accept it if you don't want to, but that is something that reigns true for almost every white rapper that you see. Every single one, damn near. Also, what were you just saying to me just a second ago before I got off track? Has a white boy innovated anything? Oh, I don't think so. Not that I can recall. But I'm open to it. But I can't think of any example.
Vaccination.
So I've got Jack Harlow here. I just wanted to ask you one question.
Eminem wasn't mediocre, though. Eminem is also an anomaly. Eminem is also somebody that came in to rap at the perfect time. Because, and I'm not going to put that on just him, because there's a bunch of people that around his era wouldn't have made it if they entered rap the way they rap now. But I don't know, he was more than just a white rapper. He represented more than just whiteness, if that makes any sense. He was a statement for a lot of things outside of just being white. And I don't mean beneficial to people that weren't white, but I'm just saying that he existed as more than just the white idea. You know what I'm saying?
What is up with the fouling, and why would you
represented broke niggas? He was a lot.
Say you're fouling so much out here?
You are so fine, bro.
Damn.
Other than that, I'd like to ask about the game, man. You're really persistent. You're a great guy. What are you looking at?
When are we gonna talk Kyrie?
We are not going to talk about that. We can talk about some more questions, though.
Talk about real shit.
Ain't nobody keeping it real no more.
What are you looking for?
Nobody want to discuss the elephant?
What do you?
Sean, how you feel knowing you're gonna be the last voice I hear before I go to bed? Ew, nigga, watch some porn. What's wrong with you?
Jack Harlow was a very funny guy. So much so that it got to the point where,
I swear to God, if I'm your last, bro, come on, seriously, don't tell me that.
apart from some of his more popular songs, he was mostly known for his personality, with fans saying things like, Jack Harlow is just naturally funny. He never forces any of his humor, which makes him so likable, in my opinion. Was just thinking about this. I barely know any Jack Harlow songs, but the man got my utmost respect. It's because he's okay with being himself. He doesn't try to portray anything he's not. Anybody who masters that is very likable.
I can agree with that.
So his personality, humor, and viral moments with Druski were instrumental in launching his career. And another big part of his launch, aside from his social media virality, was the release of the song What's Poppin' that I mentioned earlier. This song was accompanied with a Lyrical Lemonade music video, who at the time was well known for putting artists on. The track placed top 10 in Billboard's Hot 100, led to a remix with DaBaby, Tory Lanez, and Lil Wayne, and also even got nominated for Best Rap Performance at the Grammy Award.
That shit's fucking insane.
It basically took Jack from a popular up-and-comer with a few good songs to a mainstream artist worthy of collabs with some of the biggest names in the genre, and it even landed him a spot in the 2020 XXL freshman class. Jack Harlow,
what do you mean I'm in this? Stop. No,
was
I'm
now
not.
a mainstream rapper with a ton of opportunities. He put out his debut album, That's What They All Say, which featured a song called Way Out with Big Sean that was a big success. The album debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and sold 51,000 units. He started working with artists like Eminem, Corday, and then he did the track Industry Baby with Lil Nas X, which was another huge hit. After the single came out and was going crazy,
What happened to Lil Nas X?
Even Kanye jumped in and said that Jack Harlow was top 5 out right now. Then he started to prepare to put his second album out, Come Home the Kids Miss You. He began the rollout with the single Nail Tech, which did fairly well, but then he put out the single First Class, which was a smash hit. The song sampled Fergie's hit song Glamorous, and it heavily relied on it. Despite the criticism of the song for overly relying on the sample, it went crazy on TikTok and blew up. Side note, this was kind of during that trend of artists sampling already like super big hit songs and then kind of not really changing them up enough to make it worthy of the sample. It was just such a lazy and boring time, but it was working, and clearly Jack was capitalizing on that. Then Jack released the album Come Home the Kids Miss You, which went crazy, especially due to the First Class song. It debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and sold 113,000 copies first week. He had a Drake feature, a Lil Wayne feature.
I forgot how bad this album was. And this comes from someone who, despite my disdain for Jack Harlow, wasn't a big like detractor when it came to his record before that. I think the record before this one was That's What They All Say.
A Justin Timberlake feature.
I didn't hate That's What They All Say. This one is when it was like, I understand it now.
And a Pharrell feature. Like, he just had a star-studded feature list. Jack Harlow was on top of his game and arguably at the peak of his career, but this whole time there was some sneaking criticism of Jack. Despite all of his commercial success, a lot of rap fans just weren't too fond of the pop rap records he was putting out. His album Come Home the Kids Miss You came with a lot of criticism from the greater rap community.
When Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B make wet ass pussy, they're ruining a generation of young women, they're poisoning their minds, they're destroying the youth. But when Jack Harlow makes an entire album about fucking, about womanizing, about just being a dickhead with zero substance or layers to him whatsoever, oh, he the next Drake. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with this album because he got a bunch of bitches. I just can't overlook the hypocrisy. This nigga has a bar on this album talking about his semen. Some of these bars are bad, but they're worse when you put them in the context.
Yo. This dude gotta chill. Number one. Number two, though, hold on. Here's the situation, right? Here's the situation. You know, sometimes I be speaking facts. Like, goddamn, where's my bass boom? Like, goddamn. This hit niggas with a barrage.
He uses them in. Unprovoked. I like to dictate things, Kim Jong. What the fuck are you talking? Am I handsome enough? Now them same girls got coke in their nostrils. Something done made the youth hostile. Maybe it's
it ain't just me, okay?
Fossils.
Undeniably, the album was a
why he go say the greater community and it's one person that he referenced? It could have been. It was 7,000 niggas that hated that album.
Weak album from a rapping and production standpoint. Like, it was far from
See what I'm saying? I get singled out. What did I do?
groundbreaking.
I see now why 50 had you on that list. You truly earned it. All right.
The album also received mixed reviews from critics, but honestly the place that I saw the most hate was on Twitter, and they were pretty ruthless. In the span of just months, it went from people talking about how everyone loved Jack Harlow to every single outlet talking about how much hate he was getting online because of this album. People were saying things like, the Jack Harlow push was crazy. He received a sneaker deal, was on every magazine cover, was on every talk show, did SNL, tried
I'm telling you, bro.
to sing, and in return, he dropped a mid-album in between Future and Kendrick Lamar.
That's what's more insane, because you had people that were dropping, I won't say banger is crazy. Banger is crazy. But you had people that were dropping like insane records at the time, both in the underground and in the mainstream. And Jack Harlow is getting like recognized in the slew of all of that and having like real estate be taken up in those conversations. I'm like, why?
You can tell the industry is pushing him very hard to be the next pop star. Jack pushes zero boundaries in his music. I don't feel like I miss anything not listening to him. I don't remember who exactly said it, but around this time someone said that Jack Harlow just feels like a watered down, more boring version of Drake.
Today is the anniversary of her getting caught in a stampede. You a fan of John Cena? I think it's time we come to terms with the fact you're the best outlet for hip-hop media.
And honestly, I agree. His raps weren't really anything special.
chilling.
His instrumentals were very Drake-esque. It was just pretty boring. It wasn't even like he made a bad album or something or did something wrong. People just hated him because of the album being so painfully plain and boring that people were fed up. Come Home the Kids Miss You, despite its commercial success, was the beginning of the end for Jack Harlow. One of the biggest criticisms of Jack Harlow around this time is that he went too pop, and I sort of agree. His music was never too underground or unique to begin with, but he definitely doubled down on the pop rap type of music to keep that commercially successful money coming in. However, I think after all of that criticism, he heard that and wanted to prove to rap fans that he still really could rap and put out.
And this is the worst thing in the world, because now it's like you want to put that away, but that's really your most entertaining quality. So when you drop that and you put out the next record, I think it was Jackman, it's like, okay, now I realize you don't have any depth either. So I don't think I ever wanted Jack Harlow to rap about anything below the surface, but I think I did want the way that he presented the surface level to be a little bit more unique and flashy and, I don't know, possibly flamboyant or whatever the case may be. Just anything outside of the way it was already being presented that would make me feel like there's justification to this stampede or influx of fans that he's getting, you know what I'm saying, as the music is being released. But I never felt like that at any point in his career. And then when he started adding like more depth with the newer album, I'm like, there's really nothing to this dude, like, at all. I didn't want more. But when people start, again, it's people's reaction to this that makes the reaction to Jack much stronger. Because if Jack comes out and he's making records, I don't say anything. There's nothing to say. But when they start throwing him in a conversation with other niggas, then I'm like, oh, well, now you making me look like I hate the nigga, because I don't. But now I have to say something. I'm seeing too many people attracted to this mediocrity, and y'all don't flock to other people the same way you do to this, and now that's fucked up to me.
Some good music. So Jack Harlow got to work and began putting together his third studio album, Jackman, which interestingly enough is his first name, Jackman. I don't know, that's just a strange name to me. Normally it's like Jack or Jackson or something, but I guess. Anyway, it was somewhat of a surprise drop with not much of a rollout, and the album cover gives off a vibe of being back home, as it was shot in Louisville, Kentucky, and the cover just made it seem like he was going to try to go back to his roots. And he did, as he put out a fully fledged rap album with 10 cuts featuring soulful loops and boom bap production to prove he's a real artist. On this project, Jack tried to get deep and introspective, which did.
And this is the thing too about this that I think isn't even a specific Jack issue. This is a problem I think that plagues the greater rap community beyond him. But people at the time didn't want to have that conversation. But you see recently with the release of a record like Clips, Let God Sort 'Em Out. I think I forgot the name of the album. But with their most recent album, there have been more rap purists that have been feeling like they're at the top because they had a #1 record. And we, on the outside, have been discussing how problematic that might be for the future of rap, that a record from 250-year-olds is at the #1 spot. Like, what are we doing evolution-wise in rap music for that to be the album that's #1 in 2025, or for that to be people's favorite record out of everything that we got from all these different age ranges and groups of people that are making music right now? Why is that? Why is the classic format still the one that people, you know what I'm saying, want the most? And I feel like that's a problem. So him converting from pop rap into classic, you know, sample heavy, sample driven loop records was just as bad, because now you're boring in a way that you're trying to present as having depth. Like, it's still just as bad. Good music is good music. That's not to say that Clip's album is bad. I'm not saying that. But it is a statement to be made about that being the record in 2025 that is that has over 100K sold. Like, that just shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be the rap album of the year. It just shouldn't be.
Woo a few rap fans, but not enough. Hip Hop DX said, alas.
It's an amazing body of work, but that shouldn't be the one for 2025 with all these new dudes out here. It shouldn't be.
Despite the attempts of introspection, there's not enough to redeem this record. Jackman is the album version of listening.
I'm not saying it should be Playboy Cardi.
To the kid in class deliver a book report about a novel he didn't read, but wants the class to think he's an expert on. So
nostalgia can't make a classic number one? That's not what I'm saying. Again, this obsession with the old and this disassociation from the new is why this far into the year we don't have people talking about guys that are from the underground or guys that don't cater to sounds that you're already familiar with or sounds that you're already accepting of. So when Jack Harlow makes a record in 2022 or 2023 about Jackman, and it sounds like everything else that we've already heard, and people say, oh yeah, nah, like, I don't want to hear that. Like, he's been doing it. We've been doing this. It's been sounding like that. You're not adding anything new to the pot. People are still attracted to that as like the foundation and the basis of hip hop, as long as you're following those rules. Like, oh yeah, we're going to give you a cosign no matter what.
Harlow made another misstep. He tried to appeal to a more niche audience after all of the criticism, but
rap now is more shitty Cardi clones, Jordan Lucas type niggas, and overly tough niggas. But I'm saying there needs, more variation. There needs to be more. So if I asked Jack Harlow 2-3 years ago, can you make these records and kind of put yourself on the song in a more unique way, and you're struggling to maintain people's attention now in 2025, it's not like a crazy thing to say to want people to be like out there, to want people to express themselves with a little bit more creativity, to want them to express themselves a bit more flamboyantly or loudly, because if you let it go the way it's going, I feel like we're gonna end up in an infinite loop without anything to break us out of that. I just feel like that's a recipe for disaster.
It didn't really hit like that hard for the rap fans. Of course.
Yeah, same thing. You mentioned it right now. Same thing with Griselda. Griselda ended up having their sound go in a circle, and rap purists, they love that type of music when people are like, you know what I'm saying, when it's out and it's popular, they take the credit for rap still being alive and hip hop still being great. But over time, when we get used to it and that sound gets old, it's like they're not there to support it anymore. I see the way people respond when Benny the Butcher or Conway or even West Side Gun start talking about new music. Bodie James, especially when they start putting out new records. It's like a chore for them to listen to it now versus it being a privilege to hear it 5 years ago. It's fucked up.
People liked it, but they didn't love it. It wasn't some Kanye stuff. On top of that, it did worse commercially because it was less poppy than his other music. So he really did miss both crowds, which resulted in less streams. The album debuted at 8 on the Billboard 200 and sold 33,000 units first week, which was weaker than both his debut and sophomore project. The idea that him trying to rap and get all deep not working can be seen very clearly when right after this album came out and didn't do well, he
went right back to the pop rap shit.
Out another pop rap type of song called Lovin' on Me, where he sampled Whatever by Cadillac Dale. Going back to the first class style of pop rap songs, he debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. This song also went crazy on TikTok, with a sample being probably the catchiest part about the song. And what's actually really funny is this song, to me at least, sounded very similar to The Motto by Drake. Just listen to like the first 2 seconds of each song. The drum patterns sound very similar. And on top of that, one of the top comments on The Motto is, the drum pattern used in the track for Lovin' on Me by Jack Harlow reminded me of this song. So clearly, him and the audience knew that pop songs were what worked. After this though, Jack Harlow has only put out 4 singles in the last 2 years, which is kind of strange. He's done a little bit of acting, but he isn't doing a ton with the momentum that he used to have when it comes to his music career, leaving many fans wondering what happened to him.
Just be a poppy nigga? That's not enough. Well, it would be enough, but I don't think it's enough for his ego. Like, when Jackman comes out, he feels like he's got something to prove, so it's like, I gotta prove them wrong. I can rap, I got bars, I got a message, I got something more to me. You know what I'm saying? But when they still don't hear you, it's like, well, now I gotta go back to my roots. Am I really devoid of, like, were they right? Even if I wasn't even if I was a Jack Harlow fan, or regardless of how I feel about Jack Harlow music, it's like I could understand a sentiment of wanting to be like, nah, these niggas wrong. But realistically speaking, you haven't shown that there's anything below the surface. And that's why when something doesn't work commercially, it's like back to the pop rap, back to the pop rap. Go be an actor. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Go where the money is.
And leaving others to just forget about him. Jack does seem self-aware though, and even commented on the current state of his music career after Jackman on the single he put out called Tranquility. He said things like, "Every day I grow a little less accessible, less of a people pleaser, less flexible. I'm proud of what we have done, but I'm trying to be better though, because I don't really think I've made nothing incredible. A lot of hard verses and a couple regrettable. As far as big records go, yeah, I got a few of those, but I ain't done nothing indisputable." Clearly, he's heard what all of the fans have said, and he seems to have a similar perspective. He seems to think, yes, I've made some decent songs, I made the pop rap songs, I've done well commercially, got some hits, but I haven't put out an album or a project or even a single that is groundbreaking. He hasn't pushed the needle at all. And all of this brings us to his most recent single, Just Us, featuring Doja Cat. Like I said earlier, the song kinda came and went. And most of the discourse was over the music video where it looked like him and Doja were in love, which is especially noticeable or important because of this clip of the two of them on an Instagram Live a few years ago.
Ah, I see you, Doja. Come on in here. Yo.
I need to charge my phone.
I need to talk to you for a second.
My wig is coming up. I gotta go. Thanks for this.
Love you. Oh man, I've had a crush on her for months.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Doja Cat. Oh, we're feeling good now.
All the comments say things like, after the filming ended, they both asked, so what are we? But the downside, of course, is that the discourse was not actually about the song. And this brings me to my third reason as to why I think he's struggling right now, at least in a musical sense. Come Home, The Kids Miss You was weak. He went a little bit too pop, and now he's not really letting his personality shine through like it used to. For so long in Jack Harlow's career, he was in part carried by the fact that he was super online, doing interviews, hanging out with Druski, doing Instagram live streams, joking on his Instagram story.
His verse was ass on that song? I'll be honest, I don't think I've heard that song. And if I did, I don't remember it.
And always just being silly. And now it seems like he isn't popping out and goofing around anymore like he used to. Don't get me wrong, he's still a funny guy and jokes around from time to time. Like when last year Druski posted this picture that was captioned, "Never needed no PR," and Jack responded, or a stylist, or a trainer, or a nutritionist.
That's gotta be racist.
Hashtag self-made, hashtag independent. Jack Harlow is definitely a funny guy, which was one of the major reasons people like him, like I mentioned earlier and emphasized with how close he was with Druski. So without that, and with the music being sort of weak lately, it just seems like no one is really talking about Jack Harlow anymore.
I'll be fair to him. If he's not making anything that's crazy right now, like I don't think he's dropping many singles outside of the Doja Cat one, and I don't remember where that one was. I feel like if he dropped an album, he would still receive some level of support. And I don't think his foot's been on the gas, but I also think that there is going to be less requirement or need. You know what I mean? I just don't know which market he'd be trying to cater to. And to be fair, when you try to cater to more than one market, that's usually when you stop satisfying a core of your audience, I feel like. And without the slickness of the person I feel like he emulates most often in some of his deeper cuts, like Drake, he doesn't have his pen. He doesn't have his even singing ability. He doesn't have his, you know what I'm saying, catchiness when it comes to a hook without being reliant on a sample. I would love to say there's a future for Jack Harlow, but at the end of the day, it's like I feel the same way about Ian in that, what do you have? Like, what do you have to attract people to you that is just you organically? I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Of course, he's still super successful, and lately he's been heavily pushing his brand deal with New Balance, but on the music side of things, it's felt very mediocre as of late. Now, I'm not going to say that his music was ever groundbreaking. I mean, he wouldn't say that either, probably. One fan on the Jack Harlow subreddit said, "Why is his music getting worse?"
Not enough layers or lack of ability? Nah, I think Jack Harlow is just musical wallpaper.
Other fans...
He's not the only one. I'm not trying to say that just for him, but being like commercially successful as musical wallpaper is kind of like a sticky thing to try to maintain and balance, you know, especially when you try to come off that interpretation of your music, and then you start trying to market yourself as someone with depth, and then nobody accepts the depth, so you go back to wallpaper. It's just kind of like, damn.
Responded saying things like, Jackman was the best rap album I feel he's put out, but given it doesn't do any hit streaming numbers, it's likely Jack tried to switch things up, as music is still a business. My issue is all 4 singles so far seem to have no connection to each other. Another said, it's like he's pulse checking. He's releasing things that have been in his drafts and trying to see what works. That's in reference to the 4 singles he's put out, because none of them have the same type of vibe. Another fan said, I accepted after Jackman came out that we probably will never get 2017 to 2020 Jack ever again,
but I went back specifically when I made that initial Jack Harlow breakdown, and I was wondering, like, what do you want him to go back to? His music back then was ass. The music now is ass. If a nigga always been ass, it's like you wanted him to go back to ass. I don't know. What did you hear in the first part of his career?
At least we got to experience it at all. Jack Harlow still has potential to make good music. I mean, he already has the platform. He knows what works and what doesn't. Now it's just up to him to decide what he wants to do. I also think he should get out there more like he used to. Like, I'm surprised he's never been on Kai Cenat's stream or hung out with Druski when he was on there. I don't know. I just feel like Jack has that perfect personality for hanging out and goofing around and networking with.
I remember Vince Staples saying that black people sell trauma or are pushed to sell trauma through art, and that's what makes labels and organizations invest in them. I wonder how this applies to Jack Harlow and the way he approaches storytelling. Well, in that sense, no one's requiring Jack Harlow to be in a traumatic space to sell his records, because he's allowed to be casual and still have commercial success. In the same way that you might go to a movie theater and see in a white movie or a movie that has predominantly white or Caucasian actors within it, they don't have to talk about anything traumatic for the movie to have any type of real world connection. Whereas with black people or some minorities, there are always mentions within some popular, you know what I'm saying, mediums that have to have black people reference something traumatic, specifically racism, you know what I'm saying, before the movie is, you know, worldwide marketable. You see Sinners as an example. It's like, I'm not mad at Sinners. I'm glad that it got the success that it has. But, you know, the core of it, a big core of it is the Jim Crow era. A big core of it is built off the whole idea of segregation and everything. So it's like, I understand, but to an extent, that's the biggest movie that's had a predominantly black cast in I don't know how long. And you can say as much as you want, like, things are different now and black people have a lot more freedoms and all this other stuff, but like, when you look at the box office, when you look at the sales, when you look at tickets, you look at all these things in conjunction and combination with one another, it's like, there's one group that's allowed to do basically whatever they want and be successful, and the other one has to move in a certain way a lot of the time before their ideas are respected or looked at as valuable. I can't tell you how many times that I thought, you know, Kendrick Lamar wouldn't be nearly as successful as he is right now unless he did what he did and spoke about the things he spoke about as he was coming up, because not just white people, but the greater hip-hop community at large had this like fixation with only valuing shit that they felt was respectable. So the way he put himself out there, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna fuck with this because yeah, we respect that this message comes from a place that we think is something that we think is respectable. But if it wasn't, if it was degenerate, if it was this, if it was that, like, we wouldn't fuck with it. You're not worth anything unless you're talking about this a lot of the time. But it's not true for every case. You have rare examples where it's like, all right, this person can go up regardless, or this person can talk about something stupid regardless. But a lot of the time, it's like, you see a white dude go up in the hip-hop industry, or a white girl use the hip-hop aesthetic, they can talk about and do anything, no matter what. And they're not criticized or hyper-fixated on for being degenerate or being worthless or this and that. It's never the same.
Other celebrities, that's just perfect for viral moments. But
what happened to Forbats? I don't know. Good question. I got no fucking idea. Where is Forbats? Where the fuck is Forbats? I don't think a black sci-fi movie wouldn't do well because of these points. You don't think Are you saying you do think or you don't think a black? Okay, I get what you're saying. I think I read it wrong. No one's asking where the fuck he's at. You're right, but at the same time, I still want to know where he at. But Four Bats is a good example of like, but when black people do come up in that way, a lot of the time it's like, all right, bet. Now I can see this person a plant. Like Four Bats 100% is an industry plant. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. But I fuck with him. Like, I don't fuck with him. I don't know why I'm not. I don't know why I lied like that. I lied again. I lied again. It's like the RDC skit about studios talking to black directors. Yeah, man. I'm like, even though I have an annoyance when I see it in music, I have a deep-seated hatred for it when I see it in film. Deep-seated. Very deep-seated.
Four Bats is literally a plant and the industry made him to be a Brent clone, which I feel like has actually hurt Brent kinda.
I don't think Brent's success has been halted or thwarted in any way or like affected by Four Bats' presence at all. I'll be honest. Phenom EXC, I appreciate you with the 23. I don't think his success or his trajectory will be affected by Four Bats at all. I don't even know who listens to Four Bats. Not saying he's trash, even though I personally think that. If anything is holding Brent back, it's his song formats. Because he's making songs that go in circles. And he's been making that for a minute. Like, I've been struggling to see Brent Faiyaz make a complete record that goes somewhere outside of where it intros for a long time. So hopefully when he figures that out or he starts making like more complete songs, he'll be back in that position that people had him at when he was introing in 2020, 2021.
I agree, but I feel like both are true personally. Haven't even heard his new record, TBH.
Who, Brent? Brent has so much potential, man. I love Brent Faiyaz for the most part. I do. I'm more of a fan of his Sanderson era, but for the most part, girls turn on Brent Faiyaz around me, I'm vibing. Don't really matter the song. I'm going to find a reason. Something in my ears is going to be attracted to something that's going on in the song. But if I'm listening to this like as a dude who cares about R&B and cares about soul music, like I'm not ranking him highly like at all. It is what it is. It's fine though. I'll listen to him casually. But when he puts out a good record, which he will soon, I believe, I'm gonna be waiting on it. You know, I'll be waiting on it. He got to get back in his more personal bag. I hope so, because the superfluous stuff isn't for everybody, bro. It's not. Daniel Caesar is someone who is able, like, he does it very well, despite what people say about him. He dives into elements of himself extremely well. He just does. I forgot what his album name was. Was it Never Enough? What's his last album? Like, he does such a good job of, like, mixing himself in and describing his story in, like, a passionate way. I love Never Enough. Never Enough is one of my favorites. I mean, Damn. Freud. Oh my God. Why can't? Okay, chill. Hold on. Wait. Freud. Oh my God. Wait. Hold on. Wait.
I need Brent to get off the too cool for school shit.
No, it's stuck. Freudian. Jesus Christ. Nah, sometimes it trip out on your shit. I took my time. Jesus Christ. Ironically, a Freudian slip. Chill. What about Steve Lacy? Steve Lacy always had talent. Then he got to this peak. And y'all know what era I'm talking about. He got to his peak when Dark Red came out. Dark Red is such a fire song. But when I heard that record, that was where I was like, oh yeah, we got to pay attention to this dude 100%. Then he had some musical moments that I thought were like, okay, I'm glad he's still out there. But then I didn't feel anything was noteworthy enough to be like, oh yeah, he's capitalizing off of the traction of that record. But then Gemini Rights comes out, and I'm like, damn, holy shit. You got it, big bruh. You got it. Like, he does a lot as well. And I respect it. I do. I heard the internet is coming back. I hope they don't. group recollaborations don't usually work out so well. But if it's great, I'ma always support it. If it's great, I'ma always support it. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying it's not internet hate. I just know where things go. I'm chilling. I'm not. Expectations are at the fucking ground. Y'all like the FKA Twigs record? Is there a new one, or are you talking about the one she did with Yeet?
Many men, many men wish dick upon me, Lord. I don't cry no more.